Hi there, meteorologist T.J. Springer in the Storm Center with an update on the tropics. We're all reeling from Helene. Want to send all the good vibes and prayers for everyone that has been picking up the pieces from what was such a major hurricane for the Sunshine State and then produced that catastrophic devastation with the flooding rains across the south and east across Appalachia. So really just an unbelievable storm, and it's still circulating, at least the remnants of it anyway, across the upper Midwest. This latest advisory, I believe the last advisory, the wind now down to 15 miles per hour with that slow eastward movement at 3 miles per hour, just a crawl, and it's still going to bring impacts across the East Coast as we progress through the next 24 to 36 hours or so. We can see that on our Fox model, that swirl as Helene got ingested into that upper low. This is this morning now at 11, timing things out through the rest of our day. We can see the heavy rain as we head through dinner time tonight, and all this shifts little by little toward the mid-Atlantic as we head into our Sunday morning. So it's going to be unsettled for those of you that are still flying, maybe have plans to get up to the Ohio Valley and eastbound through the mid-Atlantic, Virginia, Maryland, PA, with still some showers working around that area of low pressure. Now, Joyce has winds sustained at 50 miles per hour as it's making that trek off to the northwest at 10 miles per hour. Thankfully, it's a fish storm and eventually will weaken into a depression and eventually an extratropical area of low pressure as we head through this upcoming work week. So some good news in that regard, but that doesn't mean the tropics are quiet. Still watching a couple of different areas now, and the one, which we'll talk about here in a moment, definitely bears some watching. This one does too. We have another wave coming off the west coast of Africa that will move through the eastern Atlantic, likely a 40% chance of becoming a depression over the next 7 days. We'll have to watch how it starts to get closer to the central and eventually central and eventually western Atlantic, I should say, over the next week. So be sure to keep tabs with our latest forecast. But the one that definitely raises my eyebrows is the one that really looks to form close to where Helene just did, and really kind of a similar contour. If you remember when we got the outlook from the NHC last week, it was kind of similar, and now a 40% chance of development in this zone. And just like with Helene, we could have another area of low pressure getting spit off the Central American gyre and working up into a favorable environment because of how warm the Atlantic and the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf are all warm, but the record warmth in the Gulf and the Western Caribbean. Then we have another area of interest, some disturbed weather off the west coast of Mexico that could have a 30% chance of development here as we progress throughout the next week. You can see the temperature still in the mid to upper 80s, maybe even 90 degrees in some spots. So it's certainly an obscene amount of warmth that will allow these storms, anything that develops, to strengthen rapidly like we just saw with Helene. So as we progress through the remainder of the weekend and early next week, we're going to continue to monitor the Western Caribbean closely, because I do think we're going to have this area becoming a depression, possibly in the middle portion of this upcoming work week. So by Wednesday, maybe we could have a depression on our hands. And then from there, we're going to have to watch it extremely closely, because there's a lot of different data in the ensemble blends even that at least pinpoint a hurricane or a tropical system in the Gulf, but where does it get steered? That's what we're going to continue to fine-tune in the week ahead. But I think at least here, we're going to be watching this time next weekend and into the following week for maybe some tropical rains, a slug of moisture getting thrown up into the peninsula. So we'll have to watch that. It is just some rain from, at least some tropical rain from a system or anything tropical storm or hurricane driven that could be moving up in our direction. So make sure you join Laurel. She'll have an update tonight. And then make sure you join me again on Good Day Orlando starting at 7 a.m. on Sunday.